Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video and welcome to round 11 of our F1 2002 career mode. Yes, we're back this weekend here for the Belgian Grand Prix at Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps. Of course, if you missed out on the last video that went live over the weekend from Hungary, I would highly recommend going back and checking out. It was arguably just the second time all year that we were the car to beat in the Hungarian Grand Prix, only followed up by Monaco. So of course the two highest downforce circuits on the F1 calendar really did suit our car. Frentzen still has a 17-point lead at the top of the table, but very quickly this season has become a two-horse race between myself and Frentzen. Constructors wise though, still a 15-point gap in favour of Williams at the top of the table right now, as pretty much every single team is in a fight in the constructors. 1 point in it between McLaren and BAR. We've got 22 points in it between Sauber, Jaguar and Renault. But in recent races, yeah, Renault have been stringing together some decent results as well. And of course our backmarker teams of Toyota, Jordan and Minardi. 6 races to go though, including this one today. We've got a couple more very high-speed circuits coming up as well. Get yourself subscribed if you're new. We're trying to hit 140,000 subs. And if you want to get early access to these videos, you can click the join button as well for just £1 a month. But without further ado, let's head to Spa. Well, just like you would expect from a circuit like Spa, we are meant to see rain come Sunday afternoon here, so I've completely set up the car to try and suit us for those wet conditions. Qualifying, it's going to be a little bit sacrificed today. Of course, we took our second ever pole position in this series last weekend. I don't think we're going to be bagging our third this afternoon though. It's really just going to be an effort of trying to remain as close towards the front as we possibly can. But as you can see, the amount of downforce we're running on the car, we've got no straight line speed whatsoever. In fact, we are slowest by the end of Sector 1 there. 1.3 seconds off of our teammate Michael Schumacher, who I must admit, I'd love to see him bag pole position. I certainly don't want to see Frentzen get another one as well. But hopefully through this middle sector will be where we can really fly and make up a load of that time once again, trying to rotate the car between the curbs, of course, through Sector 2. I really do wish we had the classic version of Spa-Francorchamps. Obviously, even the the late 90s, early 2000s with the old school bus stop chicane, I think would be really cool inside this game. But this is EA and Codemasters. Of course, we never get anything like that anymore inside these titles there. But yeah, so far, I mean, the lap actually in of itself has felt fairly good, but the timing really just isn't showing it at the moment, as we are all the way down in P15 at the moment. So I think we've just kind of compromised the car, maybe even just slightly too much here over 1 lap pace. This was always the thing, back in the 90s and the early 2000s. There was a big difference between a qualifying setup, a dry setup and a wet setup there, as at the final corner up towards the line. We are P18 on the grid. That's not what I'd hoped for. Well, there we go then. Villeneuve will lock out yet another Williams front row, but Michael Schumacher there less than half a second away. A 1 second gap then back to Jenson Button, who was in P4. But yeah, I mean, admittedly, we were kind of in and amongst it towards at the back of the field, though. That's the problem. Down with the Toyotas and the Jordans there. Luckily, still a second clear of either of those Minardi cars. But we've now got to really hope the rain comes down in a big way, because qualifying has been a complete write-off.
We're in Belgium once again for today's round of the Formula One World Championship. It's a race the great Ayrton Senna won 6 times, and in 2019, Charles Leclerc became the first driver to take their maiden win here since Michael Schumacher in 1992. Spa-Francorchamps then, a 4.35-mile tour of the Ardennes countryside, with 9 right corners and 10 left corners, giving us a grand total of 19. Average lap speeds in the dry can reach about 145 miles per hour, but without a significant improvement in these conditions, we won't be seeing anything like that today. Anthony Davidson, thanks for joining me once again for the Grand Prix. Let's talk about Mr. Monaco. They're starting towards the back of the field today in a car that is fast, so they'll be disappointed, won't they?
It's not a nice feeling, I promise you. They've got a quick car underneath them, but they've got onto the grid today and they need a pair of binoculars to see the start lights. They'll be desperate for a good start to make up for some of that deficit.
Well, the heavens have certainly opened here in Spa, you know, as we would expect them to inside this game. And it looks like those wet conditions are meant to continue right the way throughout the afternoon today. So hopefully the no-stop strategy is going to be possible around this circuit. 22 laps ahead of us, though. This is going to be a real race of survival. We've been bumped to P17, thanks to Anthony Davidson taking some grid penalties. It's 5 red lights, though. A mighty long hole, but it is going to be lights out, and away we go then, hopefully. I mean, look at that, Raikkonen and Alonso. Alonso even and Davidson both getting off to a lightning getaway. Down in towards someone. Alonso was almost up into the points immediately, as I'm just going to take it nice and easy through that first corner. Obviously, we could easily lose, you know, a front wing end plate or something like that at the start of this one if we're not careful, so I just want to try and stay out of trouble as best as we can then, but again, you can just see the lack of straight line speed. We've got a safety car out already. David Coulthard is out of this Grand Prix. We're riding the board then with DC, as you can see, making our way down in towards Eau Rouge, side by side with one of the Jordans. Just runs a little bit wide. Just connects with him on the exit of the corner. And, well, lucky that could have been a much more scary accident for DC. But here's our first retirement of the afternoon. Coming to the end of lap 3 then, you can just see only one driver opted to pit under that safety car, and it was the same driver that did it back at the Austrian Grand Prix under the early safety car there. Rubens Barrichello has come out behind us in this GP, but I mean, I would expect everybody can go to the end on a single set of tyres, but it might well be that Barrichello has actually tried to, you know, sometimes the AI still feel they've got to do a mandatory stop. Even in the wet conditions, but getting ready then to go green flag racing once more, staring at the Minardi of Kimi Räikkönen there as well, Barrichello as well. I want to try and look down mine, so I mean, look at the understeer through that final corner. We just had no power down, and well, Barrichello immediately is going to go past us then on the run back towards turn 1. We will try and get back down the inside of the Jaguar. I mean, we've desperately got to try and get some temperature into the tyres, because I think that's causing us the most problems very early on there. You can just see no temperature whatsoever in the tyres, but should be places like Eau Rouge that we are very, very strong against the AI there, and you can see immediately taking bags of time out of Kimi Räikkönen. Eau Rouge and the middle sector is hopefully where this car is going to come alive, because, yeah, we've just got no straight line speed to really make moves. Down or up, sorry, the Kemmel Straight, I should say. Let's just ride on board then through these next couple of corners. Are we going to be able to get a run on Kimi? Yes, we are. He's going to try and swing just a little bit defensive. Try and get the car slowed down, though, around the outside. Luckily, obviously, with all the water on the circuit, the racing line doesn't quite exist in the way it normally would, as we are finally starting to make some progress then up the order. Well, I'm going to say it as well then, I just don't think the Ferrari is particularly well suited to the wet conditions inside this game, as well to the inside of Juan Pablo Montoya. It'll become the outside line as we make our way up towards Blanchimont. Oh, definitely not enough grip out there to really be able to do anything. As Montoya then, we will give him the place back, but immediately try and get up the inside once more through the bus stop chicane. Up then into P16 as Villeneuve still leading the way at the front of the order, but we're starting to work this out. Carlo Fisichella, that Toyota just does not have the rotation up through Eau Rouge that our car does. As you can see now around the outside of the Panasonic liveried car, as He's definitely got the top end speed over me, but we've just got so much braking performance there as Anthony Davidson and Zolt Baumgartner watching Alonso trying to defend from the Jordan of Ralf Schumacher. Admittedly, it was a very, very good start by Fernando. Hasn't quite got him up inside the points. Yes, certainly was audacious down in towards turn 1, but everybody now trying to find a way around him pretty quickly. As they always say, rain is the great equaliser. I don't think anything's going to help that Minardi equalise. We've got yellow flags out. Have we got another car stopped potentially in front? No, I think it's Alonso. Oh, Alonso, I think the engine's gone on that Minardi car as we're trying to carve our way through the BARs. And I believe we've got yellows out. I don't know if we've got another safety car. Oh, we're already got 1/3 distance then in this Grand Prix, and we feel like we've basically done no racing whatsoever so far this afternoon. But yeah, we just keep getting incidents for other drivers, and poor old Fernando Alonso, that miraculous start, pretty much good for nothing very, very early on as we got into the GP. But yeah, up into 14th place then as we get ready for yet another restart here in Spa. I mean, this could just be a race, almost like 2001, of just quite a few safety cars. Might end up being the case here as through that final corner again, desperately trying to build up some temperature into the rubber. Hopefully, we're not going to be too vulnerable from Giancarlo Fisichella on the run back down in towards turn 1. Oh, locking up the fronts in quite a big way. That might allow Fisichella to have a look to the inside of us as we try and get the power down on the exit. All I want is just to be able to get a few laps under our belt, build up some confidence, work out where the grip is, work out where the limits of the car are as well, and hopefully from there we can actually start moving forward a little bit more quickly. Jordan as well though, 10th and 11th right now. I mean, this could be a big opportunity for any of our backmarker teams to finally get some points on the board, because I think if they can score here, that probably puts them in a pretty safe position right the way through to the end of the year then. So Takuma Sato, obviously the rookie, will be looking to try and defend from everybody he possibly can, but those BARs behind are very quick. Obviously our Ferrari very, very quick as well, so everybody is going to be hounding them to obviously try and make progress in their own kind of battles in the championships. It's definitely through corners like this where if we can get the line right, we can definitely make up a lot of time. But Anthony Davidson, he is going to be a difficult one to get round. Able to get the power down then. Oh, just trying to put alongside Anthony Davidson. Again, he will just try and give me a bit of a squeeze. And again, we're going to be to the outside of someone up through Blanchimont there. Not quite able to make that one happen. But we were trying to have a look to the inside, in towards the bus stop chicane there. Make sure we're nice and steady on the brakes. I don't want to plough straight into the side of that second BAR car. Just trying to put the power down on the exit of that final corner. I don't know what the fastest lap time is in this Grand Prix, but we have not got anywhere near a sub 2-minute lap time yet, and we're almost at half distance. Trying to get a run then on Zolt Baumgartner up the Kemmel Straight, 208 miles an hour. There's more drivers with issues up and down the grid as well as to the inside of Zolt. Oh, he gives me a big squeeze. Don't think he spotted us there down the inside. It was a fairly late move, but I don't think, we weren't too aggressive with it. Well, it slowed down onto the apex as actually Sato picked himself up a 5-second penalty, so I'm not too sure what he did to warrant that one. But yeah, Jordan this weekend, though, definitely, this is another circuit where they've kind of been closer to the midfield than they've kind of felt as true backmarkers. That's Ralf Schumacher then trying to show the nose down in towards Pouon. Not going to make anything happen that time round. So Schumacher there just runs a little bit wide on the exit of the corner. Able to get the power down though. Could we have a big send to the inside? Or just like get it slowed down still in between the white lines? I believe. Yep, that's us up into 11. There we go. We got Mark Webber there. I can just see side by side with somebody up in towards those final few corners. That's Marc Genet then that is going to get squeezed out as Villeneuve has done a 2:01.1. So that's kind of the benchmark time by some of our front runners there. As look at that round the outside of not one but two cars at the final corner there to the inside of Genet on the exit. That's going to allow Sato to potentially move back into the points. We were still 3.5 seconds slower than the Williams that lap. So this might be another race where a podium is going to be the ultimate goal. But even then, I don't know how quick Schumacher is. Well, with Rubens Barrichello down in the doldrums today, it is up to Mark Webber to lead the Jaguar team around this venue. And at the moment, he's doing a fairly good job up in P8. We were wondering about where Michael Schumacher, or what his pace is like. Woeful is the answer. Our teammate is only in P7 right now and seems unable to really make an impact, even against the cars he's battling with. So, yeah, this car does not seem to suit the wet conditions around this venue. Williams are just running away with it at the front of the order. So we have got cars starting to peel into the pit lane then, so that will be interesting to see. Alexander Wirtz in, but he is the only one. Come on then, this time around we've got to try and get the run on Mark Webber there. Big run up the Kemmel Straight, 208 miles an hour, as we were trying to tuck out of the slipstream at the very last moment. Purple through that first sector there, so goes to show how handy the slipstream is. And now we are in the hunt against our teammate. I mean, it's definitely the car, not Michael. He was known as the Rainmeister in Formula 1. If this was real life, he would absolutely be dominating this event. But as I've said many times before, F1 2020 cannot cope with the Germans' greatness. Well, Villeneuve looks set to crack the 2-minute mark pretty quickly in this Grand Prix. I'm trying to work out, though, who's running in third at the moment. Obviously, there'll be those Williams cars 1 and 2, as we just seem to be getting quicker and quicker as well at the moment. I think the rain is definitely starting to ease up just a little bit more, but now, I mean, we can hear the message already, can't we? Fernando is faster than you. Let Michael through for the championship. Ferrari, they have had to do many kind of team orders before, and look at that, Schumacher not even able to get the run out of Eau Rouge there. I mean, we put alongside him, it'll get the straight line speed on me. How quick is our teammate able to go in a straight line? As I thought he'd give me some room on the outside there. Luckily, we backed out of it fairly early, because I wasn't quite able to make that one happen. But yes, stuck behind those Saubers. Admittedly, they are pretty good cars this season, but still, I'm sure not what Michael Schumacher would want from an afternoon where, you know, he needed to try and challenge those Williams early on for us. I can only assume he just got a bad start, and that's what caused all his problems, but Michael is definitely not going to let us by easily. We've got to try and find a way around him. I mean, just watching him through the middle sector, I mean, he's like the 2001 Ferrari, just so understeery. You really just cannot position it where you need to, or around the lap there. Just seeing the dirty air, really struggling, try and keep it between the white lines, but to the inside of Schumacher we will go. Get it slowed down onto the apex there, and up then into P6 of this Grand Prix. Hopefully those Saubers are going to be a little bit easier to navigate, as Schumacher might try and come back at me, back in towards turn 1. Oh, he thought about it, but just unable to make anything happen. I think a podium might still be possible here. I believe it's got to be Button, isn't it? I think he's one of the only drivers I haven't overtaken yet. So Renault definitely getting stronger and stronger as this season has gone by. So I can only assume it's JB that's running in third, but definitely I think unless something wild happens, we're not going to be able to challenge those Williams. All over the back then of Jarno Trulli as we try and make our way out of Stavolo once again then. That Sauber, I mean, this thing has got to be one of the fastest in a straight line inside this game. He's just having to blend the throttle slightly though before we even get towards Blanchimont here, so it might be back-to-back laps that we are going for the big send, or almost straight into the back of Danica Patrick at that final corner. So Jarno Trulli will try and fight back against me. Let's look at that, it's Frentzen in third. So if it is JB, which I'm pretty certain it is, he must be running up in second place then in this Grand Prix. So Jenson, well, I keep saying it's Jenson Button. I can't think of anybody else that it could be. But if it's not JB, then I look like a right idiot. Purple through that middle sector then. When we get a bit of clear air, we are really, really quick. As Villeneuve, yet another fastest lap of the Grand Prix. But with Frentzen down then in P3 at the moment, that potentially opens up opportunities towards the end of the afternoon to try and attack him. We just need to find a way around Danica before then as well. Down at the bus stop has definitely been my favourite overtaking place of the day. Luckily, yeah, it is Jenson Button then that's running in P2, so he's doing a fantastic job. But with the pace we've got, we might be able to get to those guys by the end. we basically need qualifying laps towards the end of this GP. Well, Villeneuve and I then trading fastest laps late on in the day. We're almost both now into the 1 minute 59s. But I'm just looking at that gap to Frentzen and Button. We are taking pretty much 2 seconds a lap out of them exactly. So this could end up being a last lap battle. I've just got to keep trying to absolutely nail it, which in these conditions in this car is not particularly easy. Overroute is now basically entirely flat. Blanchimont is pretty much flat out as well. Finally, the setup is working. Oh, we've got yellows. We've got yellows. Someone's got issues. Don't say it's Villeneuve. No, it's Button. Jenson Button, one of the greatest drives of our young Englishman's career. And late on in the day, he is out of it. That must be heartbreaking for him and Renault. What would have been, I believe, the team's first podium as well. Obviously, as the, car manufacturer inside this series. Jenson Button, with less than 2 laps to go, is out of this Grand Prix. And more annoyingly for me than that, Frentzen doesn't gain any extra points on me because of it. But it does probably mean now I'm not going to be able to get to him by the end of this GP. Finally, we've taken that fastest lap away from Jacques Villeneuve. They're going to show that the car does have pace. That we could compete with Williams around this venue. The big thing has just been all about the short shift here. Trying to avoid any traction control bog as you possibly can. But ultimately now Frentzen, where he's out in clear air, I don't think we're going to have a chance at him. 4 seconds still the gap. Oh, we're just 1 lap to go. I think unless he makes an error, yeah, we're certainly not going to be able to do anything against him right towards the end of this one. But, we haven't had many wet races this season. Really has been a bit of an anomaly so far in 2002. But if ever you were going to expect it, surely a circuit like Spa-Francorchamps is always going to deliver a wet Grand Prix. And for Jacques Villeneuve, this season started out pretty well for him. He looked pretty competitive, but very quickly got overshadowed by Hans-Charles Frentzen, coupled with a bit of bad luck. Pretty much since Monaco onwards. Yeah, Villeneuve has not had much luck inside this series either there. But finally, after the summer break, he has regrouped. He is refocused up. Although a championship charge might be highly unlikely, Williams at the very least will be looking to wrap up their 2nd straight Constructors' Championship inside this series as well. Through the final couple of corners, Jacques Villeneuve, it is going to be a well-returned trip to the top of the podium. Villeneuve will claim victory here at Spa-Francorchamps. Can we try and reclaim that fastest lap back off him on the very last one there, as we are again going to get a little bit lucky to end up in a podium position here. Schumacher annoying that he will only come through for P5. Can we nail these final couple of corners? Yeah, definitely Frentzen is getting held up behind Jenson Button. We will not improve.
What a great race then, and what a magnificent victory here at the Belgian Grand Prix. Tell me, Ant, how did they manage to achieve this win?
It's a heroic effort for any driver to race in conditions like these, and seeing them fight their way to the front was very special indeed. They were able to find all the grip, all the good lines, and had the confidence to get on the power to top it all off. That's what pushed them into first place here today.
Here come today's winners. The team at Red Bull have done a phenomenal job recently. It's clear to see that they've put in the work, and they should be proud of the victory they secured here.
Well, there we are then. Jacques Villeneuve, like we said, a dominant race victory in the end. Pole position, he would have had fastest lap. He led, I think, every lap of the Grand Prix as well. Nobody was able to come close to the Canadian here. Frentzen comes through for P2 in the end. I think, yeah, had Button obviously not been in front of him, we would have got nowhere near him by the end of the GP, but it would have been interesting to see if we've been able to close up to JB there. We come through for P3, denying Danica Patrick a podium again this season from 17th on the grid. To be honest, after the early laps, I kind of forgot that we'd started so far back. Schumacher in P5 ahead of Jarno Trulli, Mark Webber there, and Ralf Schumacher finally gets Jordan's first points of the year. Annoyingly for Takuma Sato, that penalty actually cost him from making it a double Jordan points haul in the end. That would have been 6 points on the board for the team there. But Schumacher comes through ahead of Barrichello on a two-stop strategy with Anthony Davidson still able to pick up a point by the end of the GP there. Disappointment for Marc Genet way down the order there with Button, Alonso and DC all failing to see the checkered flag. What does that do to our championship? Well, it means then Frentzen has a 20-point buffer once more at the top of the table. Villeneuve 61 back with 5 races to go. It's not impossible, but it is certainly going to be difficult for him there as he jumps Michael Schumacher again to P3 in the championship. Davidson still ahead of Coulthard there. You can see Jarno Trulli jumps back past Button and Mark Webber there as Schumacher for Jordan means that they are now into P8 as well. Constructors-wise, BAR now back ahead of McLaren on count back. We are 33 behind Williams though, so Michael is going to have to try and pull his finger out in the final few rounds of the campaign. Thank you all so much for watching though. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure to leave a like, get yourself subscribed, because next time round we will be back for the team's home Grand Prix. Yes, we have a chance to win the Italian Grand Prix for Ferrari.